Getting ready for a backcountry skiing day. So the first thing you need to be mindful of are blisters. So why do they happen? Blisters happen when there is pressure or friction or both on a specific area for a prolonged time. If your boots are too tight, the continuous pressure will cause blisters. On the other side, if your boots are too loose, the friction between each step will also cause blisters. Excessively sweating in your ski boots can also increase the risk of having blisters as they also increase the friction between each step. So, what does it mean to have blisters in backcountry skiing? Having a blister, even a small one, will slow you down. Every step will hurt and it will be harder to keep going as it becomes a mental battle to continue walking on it. If you don't treat the blister, it will keep getting worse and worse and worse. At some point, if not treated, they will ruin your experience. How to prevent them? The best way to prevent blisters is finding a boot that fits your foot. Most shops selling or renting ski boots will have someone there to help you choose the right size for your foot. You should also use socks made out of fast dry wicking materials like merino wool to prevent having an excess of sweat in your boot. But how should you deal with them if you do get one? Blisters go away on their own eventually when you stop doing the activity that is causing them. If you keep doing the activity without changing anything, it will get worse. So if you feel a hot spot on your foot when backcountry skiing, speak up to your group and take the time to treat it. To prevent it from getting worse, you can with some cover it up so there is less friction. You could use, for example, duct tape, or if you have some, blister cushions or any other type of bandages made for blisters. So now that we're done talking about blisters, you know why blisters happen, what it means to have them in backcountry skiing, how to prevent them from happening, and how to treat them so they don't get worse. You should have all that you need to go backcountry skiing without blisters ruining your day. Being able to avoid blisters during backcountry skiing is very important because they can truly ruin your whole day or your expedition if you're going for multiple days. Always carry stuff in your first aid kit to treat blisters so they don't ruin your outing. To get ready for a backcountry skiing day, you also need to know your equipment and its characteristics. Starting with the telescopic pole. Trekking poles are often made in three sections, whereas backcountry skiing poles are usually two sections to hold up better to the stress put on them when skiing while still being able to adjust them like this for uphills and downhills. The shaft of the backcountry skiing poles, this is the shaft, is usually thicker so it can take the stress of skiing in the powder. The basket, this part, is also made bigger so when you go up the mountain, the poles won't sink into the snow, making it harder to climb up the mountain. Finally, the grip, where you put your hand, of the backcountry poles are usually made to grip better when using gloves by using materials like rubber to make them, whereas hiking poles grips are often made with foam. Climbing skins. Skins are a piece of fabric you put under your skis so they grip the snow and you can walk up the hill with them. One side of the skis is sticky, so you can stick them to the skis. The other side of is covered in hairs. The plushes all face the tail end of the skins. This way, they can create friction between the skis and the snow and stop you from sliding when going up the hill. Since the hair all go in the same direction, there's also less friction when going forward, allowing you to glide on the snow when going forward. This allows you to be more efficient. On the tip of the skins, there's twin tip connectors to allow you to connect them to the skis and make sure they don't come off when skinning. At the tail of the skin, there's a tail strap and a tail hook to make sure the skins don't detach from the tail. Now, backcountry skiing boots. Backcountry ski boots have a walk mode and a ski mode. In the walk mode, the cuff of the boot can pivot, making it easier to walk and skin up the mountain. In skiing mode, the boot goes back to its normal stiffness. This allows the ski to be reactive to the pressure put on your boots and allows you to turn more easily. Backcountry ski boots also have pinholes molding to connect your toes to the binding and allow you to lift your heel to skin up the mountain. There's also a slotted plate at the back of the boot so you can attach your heels to the bindings when you are skiing. With certain bindings, you can also use regular ski boots with the added walk and ski mode, but those setups are much heavier and make it harder to skin up the mountain. The sole of backcountry ski boots are also different. They have more grip and sometimes have a little rocker to help going up the mountain. Now, backcountry bindings. There's two main types of backcountry skiing bindings: frame bindings and tech bindings. Frame bindings are basically normal resort bindings, but the heel of the binding can be lifted freely. Those bindings work great if you already have ski boots that aren't tech binding compatible and that you don't want to spend extra money. However, frame bindings are much heavier, which will make it harder to skin up the mountain. Tank bindings, on the other hand, are much lighter, so you can so much less energy consuming when skinning up the mountain. To use tech bindings, you start by rotating the heel tower so your heel won't lock in. Then use the two toe piece to clamp them into the pinholes of your boot and press your heel down to get the brakes out of the way. You can now lift the toe piece to make sure the skis won't come out when going uphill. At the heel tower, you have two heel raisers. You can use them when the uphill gets steeper. To take your skis off, just push down the toe piece. When you're ready to go downhill, rotate back your heel towers so the heel pins face the front of the skis. Push your heels down to clip them in and make sure the toe piece isn't fully lifted. Then you are ready to enjoy the slopes. The golden rule of backcountry skiing is to always stay in control. To stay in control while skiing, you must keep a speed that you are comfortable with. This means that every speed will be different going from person to person. You should be able to stop or change direction at any point. This way, you can dodge trees and rocks for your own safety and also dodge other skiers for their safety. You should also know who has priority in all situations. If you're two skiers going down at the same time, the person that's downhill, this one, has priority. This means you shouldn't go too close to them to let them be able to turn safely without bumping into you. However, at intersections, it's always that the person that is uphill that has priority. If you come across an intersection, always look up to make sure nobody is coming down. If you see somebody coming down, let them pass, and then you can go following them. This way, there won't be any collisions since the person with more speed will be in front. In the same way, you should know where it is appropriate to stop. When stopping, you should always stop where you're not in the way of others. You shouldn't stop in the middle of the slope since you will block people going down. Furthermore, you shouldn't stop in blind spots like rollovers. If somebody is coming down, they could take a line that would make a collision between you two and cause injury. Instead, you should stop on the side of the slope and in clear view so people can see you and you're not blocking their run. You should also look out for where there's a jump. You don't want to be in front of a jump, blocking skiers who would want to take it, and you certainly don't want to be in the landing zone. To keep being able to go skiing on beautiful hills, we need to keep them clean. So it's important to manage our waste properly. It's important to bring back everything we bring to the mountain. We don't want to find garbage over the hills when the snow melts. If you need to poop, you should bring it back with you in a container made for it. If you didn't bring any containers for it, you can go 60 meters from any water source, trails, or building and dig 20 centimeters into the ground or very deeply into the snow and fill the hole when you're done. In any case, you should always bring back your toilet paper in a Ziploc bag after you use it. You should also respect the wildlife. This is their home after all. To do so, you should only look at animals from afar. Don't go close to them as it would bother their normal habits. This also includes their nest and shelters. You also shouldn't feed the wild animals. Doing so will make them used to humans and make them less and less able to take care of themselves as people keep doing it. If you're allowed to bring your dog, you should keep it on a leash so they don't go running at animals and change their normal habits because of it. It's also nice for other people going there not getting chased by the dog of other people. I hope this video helped you get ready for your backcountry skiing day, and I'll see you on the slopes.